Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I've been getting a lot of questions for kind of like a beginner's guide to bodybuilding and cutting and shredding and just a bunch of things like that. So what I wanted to first start off with was, of course this video is going to be for the beginners, for the people that don't know a whole lot. So a question I get a lot, and it might seem pretty basic to some of you, but to some people like myself, back in the day when I was still learning everything. I say back in the day, but I'm like I'm super young, but anyways, the difference between bodybuilding, powerlifting, and like CrossFit and like those different types of things. So bodybuilding is strictly posing on stage. It's all about how you look, your physique. And powerlifting is all about how much weight that you can lift. So in powerlifting, you have 3 lifts that you're gonna do. You're gonna do squat, bench press, and deadlift. And those lifts, like I said, that whole thing, powerlifting is all about power, so how much you can lift. Bodybuilding is all about your body, how you look. CrossFit and Olympic lifting, those are kind of similar. So CrossFit's gonna be the type of thing where you're gonna have like muscle endurance exercises. You're gonna be doing a lot of like handstand push-ups. You're gonna be doing power cleans, some snatches, quick sprints, maybe carrying sandbags, like all those types of things you'll see in like CrossFit competitions. Olympic lifting is gonna be like also how much weight you can lift, but instead of bench press and those types of things, you're gonna see power cleans, so which is just bringing the bar right up here, and then you're gonna see snatches, which is bringing the bar all the way up, and there might be some other ones, but those are like the differences between bodybuilding and powerlifting. Those are the 2 questions I get a lot. So a beginner's guide to dieting, with bulking and things, if you're trying to get abs, foods to cut out, and also what I want to say about abs is a lot of people, when they say I want to get a 6-pack, what exercises that I do. First I say let's deal with the diet, because like you've probably heard, or some of you have heard, abs are made in the kitchen. So it's more going to be about your diet and cutting out fatty foods and things like that. That's what's going to give you a 6-pack. I've been trying to do more 6-pack exercises, but I have one, but I don't actually do any ab workouts right now. That's all because of diet and because my body type, I just have a fast metabolism. But you can have them without doing any ab exercises. You probably know some people that do have like super good 6 or 8 packs and they don't even work out. So that's what I want to say about that first. So kind of a basic rule for cutting. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, well, I know when I start to go on prep for my shows, the very first thing that gets cut out is bread. So bread just gets cut out right away. So that's what I would say to cut out. The carbs go down a lot and your fat content goes down a lot. Some of you might have heard the term macros, and what macros are is protein, carbs, and fats. So if you see someone is on like a shredding diet and they say, here are my macros, they say like 200p, 400c. So that'll be 200 protein, 400 carbs, and like maybe 100 F, so 100 fat. You'll usually see those things, and so that's what that means. And it's super easy to find what foods have what inside them. So on packaging, you'll always see like the calories to the left of everything, and then you'll also see like protein, trans fat, and like carbohydrates. And so that's what that is. So that's an easy way to track what you're getting in your diet and how to monitor all that. So For cutting, like I was saying, so you're trying to get abs, you've been having trouble, I would say, also, when it comes to abs, before the workout, again, before it like crunches and stuff, it's the diet, and then I would say it's cardio, and then it's ab workouts. So what I always tell people is that I ask, you know, if they're eating a lot of bread, a lot of carbs, like sweets and stuff like that, and then I say to definitely limit the bread and the carbs, and then maybe even start to do some cardio. And the cardio that's definitely helped the most is fasted cardio. And so what fasted cardio is, you guys have probably heard that term before too. That's just doing your cardio before you eat anything at the beginning of the day. So what that's going to do is that's going to allow your body to start using your fat for fuel instead of the calories that you would eat in a meal for fuel. Since you haven't eaten anything, when you're doing your cardio in the morning, your body's going to start using the fat as fuel instead. So I would say lower the bread. Of course, sweets like cake and cookies, if that's all out of the way and you're still having trouble, then I would say it's got to be the bread. It's got to be something like that. The bread, maybe you're eating a ton of like white rice. That's why you hear eat a bunch of rice when you're trying to gain weight, because that's going to be a big staple in gaining weight. So yeah, I would say, you know, lower the bread, lower those carbs, do some cardio, maybe 30 minutes of fasted cardio in the morning. If you have school, I would say see if you can wait to eat your meals till a little later in the day. So that's something called, I think, intermediate fasting, something like that. I don't know if I have the first word all the way right, but I think it sounds close enough that you guys know what I mean. So I would definitely start doing that. So maybe like I have my first class, since I don't have my first period class, I go into school around 8:30, and what I'll do is I won't eat till around 10:30. So that's like that intermediate fasting. You're waiting. Your body's, again, like the same concept as fasted cardio, your body's going to be burning your fat instead of food, just because you haven't eaten anything yet. So you'll see that everywhere. Like intermediate fasting is like the #1 way, like the #1 thing you should start doing immediately if you're trying to lose fat. So with those things, I would say, you know, you get your diet right, get some cardio going, and then yeah, just throwing some ab workouts, some sit-ups. What I found that is going to help with how your abs look is not so much plank, because you're not really contracting like the muscle, and I would say that the crunching movement is what is going to give you the shape. So I would say like hanging on the bar when you bring your knees up and you're crunching your abs together, and kind of like in a crunch. So those things I think are some of the best for ab, for how they look. For ab strength, that's when you'll get into like planks and like ab like endurance, stuff like that. But for the looks, yeah, probably exercise where you're crunching and getting that full contraction of the muscle. So when it comes to bulking, what I would say is, so like when I was a kid, I'm still a kid, when I was super young, and really up until I was around 14, 15, I was super skinny. My body was just burning everything I would eat. I was shredded all the time. I'll throw up a couple pictures of even when I was 15 and 16. I'll throw up a couple right now. So as you guys can see, the veins everywhere. My abs were, you know, shredded all the time, and a lot of people, that's kind of all they wanted. But I was trying to get bigger and bigger and stronger. So what was happening, which I didn't notice for a while, is that I wasn't eating enough calories to put on muscle as quickly as possible. So my body was like I also did a ton of cardio, which I'll get to later when it comes to bulking and what you should be doing for cardio. I was doing a ton of cardio. I think I was biking around 8 miles a day. I would bike to my school, my old school I used to go to. I was biking there in the morning, and then I was eating like 2,000 or 3,000 calories a day, which for some people that's a lot. But for me, I can eat, well, for instance, I think when I was 11 or 12, I could eat 2 Subway footlongs. I could eat 2 Chipotle burritos. I think when I was 11, I ate 2. So for me, I could eat a lot more than that. Because I was in school, so I'd have like, you know, a little sandwich for lunch, and then sometimes I wouldn't have anything for breakfast. I'd have like a couple eggs, which is like 150 calories, and then I'd have my lunch, which was probably 500-600 calories. And then I was going straight to the gym, so it was almost like I was doing intermediate fasting all the way until the gym. And then doing my whole workout, so I was like doing intermediate fasting and fasted cardio almost. So I always sweat a ton too when I work out, just because I keep the intensity always really high with short rest breaks. So I was sweating a ton, hardly eating, cardio every day, and that's why I was always super shredded and stuff. But what I would say, and this is what I'm doing now, oh, by the way, in those pictures, I think my arms were around like 15 inches. And though I'm in proportion in those, and it kind of looks like I'm the same size as I am now, my arms are over 17 inches now. And it's just the way it all looks, but I'm definitely a lot bigger now and a lot stronger. So back to what I was saying, when it comes to the cardio and everything while you're bulking, if you're just super skinny like I was, I would say lower the cardio. It's good to have a certain amount of cardio in your routine, just because, as you guys have noticed, maybe when you're squatting for over 10 reps, your heart rate goes way up. And sometimes in other exercises too, you stop because you can't even breathe anymore, but your muscles still have more left in them to go. So you don't want to be failing before your muscles are tired, because then you're not going to grow and you're not going to get stronger. So you want to have some cardio, but like biking 8 miles, I didn't need to do that. That was burning way too many calories, and I wasn't gaining weight and getting bigger like I wanted. So what I would say is if you're doing a ton of cardio, lower it down. Unless of course you're in a sport where you're running, that's just gonna happen. You're just gonna have to eat more and more. Yeah, you're just gonna have to eat a lot if you're doing a sport like that. But if it's not necessary, and you're really you want to pursue bodybuilding, and you're looking to get into a show in a couple years or in a year, and you're going off for size, I would say lower down the cardio. Just eat all the time. So staple foods, eggs, white rice. Some people like brown rice. There's a lot of studies about which one's better. Just whatever you want. White rice, brown rice, beef. Basically all the meats. You don't want to have like bacon and stuff like that. That's super fatty. But basically, yeah, you can have ground beef, ground turkey, chicken, and rice. So those are gonna be meals you're gonna see a lot. And like basically everybody's diet you're gonna see on YouTube, they're always gonna be having their chicken, rice, and broccoli. So that's like just the classic. I would eat a few meals of that a day. What I found works better for gaining weight is that you're gonna want to do maybe 5 to 6 meals. Instead of 3 big meals, or even 2 really big meals, because your body's not going to be able to utilize. If you eat like 2,000 calories in one meal, your body's only going to be able to use a certain amount of that. Just like with protein, you don't have like 100-gram protein shake because your body can only use so much. So it's the same concept. So what I would do is around 5 to 6 meals. Maybe 700, 800 calories a meal. So you can get your rice and your chicken and your broccoli in. So make sure, what I do right now is I do about a gram of protein per body weight pounds. So I'm doing about 200 grams. So I think that's a good way to go off of how much protein that you need. With water, I would say at least a gallon a day. I live in Colorado, so that's a real dry place. So I'm drinking around 1.5 gallons. And also depending on what you're doing, you want to drink more if you're doing a sport with like a lot of running and stuff like that. So at least a gallon a day. I would say that for everybody, at least a gallon a day of water. You're gonna see a huge difference if you haven't been drinking a lot of water, especially if you're taking supplements like creatine, monohydrate. You're definitely gonna need to stay hydrated. Just real quick, creatine monohydrate is the only supplement that I take right now. I take 5 grams after my workout, which is a teaspoon, and I mix it in with apple juice because apparently that's the best way for the creatine to be absorbed in your body, and like a non-acidic juice. So yeah, water, super important. Sleep is also really important if you're trying to grow. I've heard from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. is the best, is when your body, I guess, repairs the most in the night. So I've been getting to bed around 10:30 every night, and I get around 8.5 hours to 9 hours of sleep every night. So I've noticed a huge difference with my strength and endurance in the day. Yeah, definitely huge improvements. I plateaued with like arm growth because that's the only thing that most people measure, and I was at like 16 inches for so long. And then that's when I also started eating more, and I started getting more sleep and drinking more water, and then I started progressing pretty quickly from there. So yeah, so bulking, like I was saying, you want to get your water in, you want to eat as much as you can. For some people like me, that are like super fast metabolism, I'd have cookies, I'd have ice cream, I'd have like everything, and I didn't notice any anything really bad coming from that. Once I got to maybe 16, 17 years of age, that's when I started to get like acne from like the ice cream and the milk. I used to drink like 32 ounces of milk every single day. And I noticed, yeah, so right now I actually don't drink any more milk, any more dairy milk. So trying to cut back on the acne and stuff like that. But yeah, so I was eating all that stuff, and for me, that was helping me. It's definitely not good to stay in that habit as you just get older, just because your metabolism slows down. But what I would say, and it's kind of what I tell everyone, that once you have maybe your 5 or 6, your good staple meals in a day, you know, pasta's good too. Yeah, beans, stuff like that. I forgot to say that before. But I say once you get that in, and if you're still hungry and and you've been eating like the same for so long and you haven't seen any results, I would say start eating some extra things, extra calories that you might need. Maybe you do just need more fats, and while you're young, it's not going to harm you to have, you know, a bowl of ice cream or, you know, whatever. So sometimes that's like really necessary, or else you just can't get enough calories in the day when eating clean foods when you're young and, you know, doing everything that young people do. So yeah, I think that would be that's the biggest thing. A lot of people, young people they would try to stay away from, which is kind of good, but it's actually okay to have those like desserts and stuff like that. That's really going to help you actually. So so these are all things that like I've experienced and that I've seen happening in other people's lives that's helping them. I recently saw a post on Instagram, and it was like talking about how you shouldn't listen to any of these like young kids making YouTube videos because we're young and like naive. And I think to some degree that's true. Like there's definitely people that don't have like all the information they need, and they're trying to teach people. But then again, like you guys, there's a ton of other people you can listen to other than like young people. I mean, I've been lifting for like 8 years, and I think I know a lot about it, and I'm not saying anything crazy. You're gonna hear what I'm saying through other people that have been in the industry and working out a lot longer than I have. But the reason why you guys are following me is because you want to see what I do, and that's why I'm making these videos. So I'm not claiming to have all the answers, of course, but I definitely want to give you guys the content that you want. And these are all things that I've been doing for years and years, and I've seen good results. So I think you guys will too. Yeah, hopefully this video covered most everything that I was thinking about. It's almost 20 minutes long video, but I mean, there is a lot of information, and hopefully I remembered everything, because it's hard to think about it beforehand and then say it all to you guys without forgetting anything. But as always, if you have any more questions, you can always DM me at Martinez_fitness on Instagram, or you can say in the comments below and I'll definitely respond to those. Hopefully that was a solid, I guess, intro to the sport and your basic knowledge of everything. So if you like the video, of course, please like it and share it with your friends, and I will see you in the next one.